Here's Steve Rebillard and Anne Sargent.
The 1995 MOBIL League picks up where it left off in '94 with Adelaide arch rivals Garville and Contax clashing at the Powerhouse. Hello, Steve Rebillard for ABC Sport. Well, one of Australian netball's most controversial chapters was written after last year's final between these two teams. The fierce rivalry between them was only increased after that disputed score. And Anne Sargent, there should be plenty of feeling out there tonight between the two.
Oh, absolutely, Steve. Well-established rivalry between the two teams. Of course, Contax coming out winners in the MOBIL League, but it's Garville who enjoys success here in the domestic competition. Add Vicky Wilson to the formula, the import for Contax, I think you've got a whole new ball game. And whilst it's going to be a very evenly contested game, oh, what the heck, I tip Contax tonight.
I'll go for Garville. Let's look at the teams. And Garville bring a squad at least the equal of last year's, with Aussie shooters Borlase and Avellino in fine form from the recent tests against South Africa. Their resilient mid-court remains intact. Pearce, Grant and Abbott have worked up a fine combination now, as have skipper Michelle Filkey and Robin Gill. Pat Micken is again the coach for '95. Contax have again imported the world's best shooter from Brisbane, Vicky Wilson, who'll be supported by Sarah Angove. Rebecca Sanders comes in at wing attack, and with Audine Cobb and Monica Dinan, they make up a revamped centre court. 25-year-old Kath Harvey, who had an excellent series against South Africa, is the skipper, and she's joined by fellow Aussie defender Sarah Sutter back in the circle. Marg Angove is coach. Audine Cobb, youngest player on court, gets us underway. First centre pass. And Sanders quickly back to Cobb and Wilson. New outfits for both teams, looking pretty smart on court, Anne.
Yes, Contax in particular made a real effort to lift the colour on, and visually I think quite spectacular on court.
Still with the grey and red, a Garville. And they're able to field the same 7 that they had in the final last year.
Now. Right, out further. Right, where you are. Hard shot.
Jan Cross sets the penalty. Borlase the rebound.
Hard shot.
And against the centre.
Good start for Garville. It's Danny Grant. The break was so early, I think Grant was expecting it to be pulled back. Avellino. Borlase finding herself in just the right spot for the rebound. Sanders. Left-hander. Wilson receives a great ball from her. And come on. Abbott, Grant, and Borlase alone. Sutter had come out.
Yeah, Sutter found herself very high, so had no choice other than to put pressure over the pass. Look at the space behind Sutter. Borlase makes her pay.
We've got plenty of players on court in super form after the series in which Australia played so well against South Africa.
Dinan doing well to back up on the transverse line. Wilson really needed her then. Heavy fall from her over the top of Filkey.
Wilson takes the shot.
This time it's Wilson's turn.
Abbott.
Oh, good ball from Grant to Abbott. Grant off balance then. Danny Grant, a real workhorse, and what a wonderful pass she threaded through to Borlase onto the post. A bright start from Garville. Magic netball here. Grant, what a pass to Borlase.
chance for 5-1 here. Avellino bounces to Borlase. And Contacts have to be stunned by this start from Garville.
I am. They mustn't have listened to the tip. Can I change it now?
No, you're stuck with it.
A shaky start in goal from Ango, but of course she does play a feeding role, and particularly with Wilson back as goal shooter. Garville very quick to progress down court.
Abbott feeds Borlase to Avellino. And there's a touch on it from Harvey. That was enough to upset the pass. Ango.
Oh, again.
Wilson alone.
Filkey sniffing out for the intercept at the top of the circle. You're not going to see that happen too often. The miss from Wilson under the post.
Well, she didn't miss any like that against South Africa.
Probably just adjusting to the new uniform. This game's being played at a frantic pace.
Harvey, Cobb, and back. Dynan. Sanders. Cobb to Wilson.
In fairness to Wilson, she won't have had too much time to settle into the line. She was on the plane with me today.
Oh,
So-
Filkey arrived late. Where's that call come from?
Out of nowhere like Filkey.
Oh. Unless it was for something else.
Actually, it was probably Wilson on Gill.
Right, something for the earlier incident. Yeah. I couldn't imagine that Nolan Cullen had ruled the way we initially thought.
One of the ones you need to see again. The game's at such a fast pace, and bodies galore as Sutter dives over the top of Avellino.
And 6-1.
That's Avellino's first.
Some young Garville fans there. Just a touch of revenge amidst the motivation for Garville here.
Beautiful timing here from Garville. Avellino, great hold. I think there's no doubt of that, Steve. They're probably still fuming from last year's result and the manner of the result, and you can't dwell on it for too long. The best answer is in fine netball.
Wilson saying, come on, more of those. Down by 5 after less than 6 minutes.
Well, she's a veteran, and she knows there's a long time left to be played in this game, and it'll be one at the end, not the beginning. Good position from Filkey. The feed wasn't good from Cobb. She really was running out of time, so she just offloaded it.
Contact. Centre. Penalty pass.
Ball goes against Ordine Cobb. Gill takes it for Grant. Avellino.
Contact
good
defenders
shoots
have created quite a few opportunities. It's the attack line that's not settling.
Pat Micken, the Garville coach on the left there. Quite a support staff she has these days. Assistant coach, physios.
Oh, Harvey was the one that shut the space down on Borlase, forcing her off the back. Combination between Sutter and Harvey well established.
Penalty down court. Dynan takes it. Sanders. Oh, Wilson.
And better under the post then was the Australian shooter, Vicky Wilson. And often it's Garville at times they run at the end of a quarter to split the gap, but this time Contacts in chase.
Abbott, Pierce, Abbott again.
Contact Jada.
And the contact against Borlase. Mark Ango, Contacts coach there, and mother, of course, of Sarah, who's on court.
Well, she brings to the competition a record as the only coach to have seen her team in 5 finals for the MOBIL League. So great track record from her. And several of her players long established with the club. I think it's Sarah Sutter's 10th year with the club, so...
Just due for long service leave.
Yeah, I don't know what she gets. A few more matches, I think. Back to the ball, but she was being voiced through that by Harvey.
Oh,
Penalty
This game's got it
just
all.
a touch greedy there,
Where you are.
Avellino and Grant. May work out yet.
Again, the force from Harvey and the turnover created by Contac's defensive duo. They're going to plug it out until the attack line settles.
7-3, 8 minutes gone. Garville with the advantage. Contacts with the ball though, and Sanders to take it. Angove.
Filkey not tempted to pick up Angove. She's determined to stick like glue to Vicky Wilson. Angove's first shot.
And Contacts look in the match now after being stunned at the start. Yes.
Contact. Penalty pass. Centre third.
Dynan gives up the contact. Abbott now. Avellino. Better shot. Wilson leads out.
Contact goes against Angove. Wilson running out of space anyway. Strong drive from Josie Pearce.
Abbott to Borlase. He's left in some space.
Scored.
Garville, a well-drilled team, and of course a good understanding. Their combination, as you mentioned earlier, Steve, intact for so long, so the timing is just wonderful from them. And very balanced all the way down the court. No chinks in the armour.
Where you are. Play.
Cobb. Sanders.
Options, of course, for Contacts there, that Vicky Neal might well come to the mid-court. Audine Cobb perhaps sit on wing attack. So some flexibility still in the line for Margaret Angove to explore. Makes you wonder, though, Steve, if this is the start of the MOBIL League, what we're going to see by the final. Pretty strong netball.
Well, always Garville and Contacts give us one of the best clashes of the season, and they're not letting us down now.
Avellino holds it up, and have a look at the pass to Borlase.
Cobb picks up Sanders.
Wilson really working to hold position, but Filkey's so mobile around her. She puts that one through off one toenail. Wilson juggles, balances, can't put the lead leg down.
Well, I don't often see her having to shoot like that, such as her balance and positioning, but she proves she can do it.
She had to work so hard to get a position on Filkey. Filkey was really mobile and constantly changing it.
Under 4 minutes left, first quarter. Garville up by 6. Wilson.
Filkey loads of pressure over the shot. Wilson just a little frustrated. And probably none better for that thump in the back either.
Abbott. Sorry, Grant.
That came from the contact on the ball by Cobb. Wasn't a misplaced pass. Garville trying to keep it steady now.
3 minutes left, first quarter. I wouldn't want to undo the good work of the first few minutes. I had it out to 6-1. Now 11-5. Cobb. Such a low-scoring quarter from Contact's point of view.
Oh, what a ball from Angove into Wilson.
She's having to get her own rebounds. The shot's not dropping for us, but such is the quality of the defence that Filkey's mounting.
Wilson sitting on just over 50% in this first quarter. She won't like that. She'll rev it up soon.
Robin Gill shakes her head. Doesn't like the call from Nola Calnan. Turns it over for Contacts. Chance to get one back here.
This time she waits for Filkey, but the call is an advantage one. Elbow indicated against Gill, I think, under back play. Contacts mounting a charge with the just under 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter.
Ango. Filkey stays on Wilson. So what was 11.5 is now 11.8. Ball A's.
Offside. 3 pass in the circle.
Avellino. Well, ran out of options there, upping the defence intensity. Oh, great ball. Harvey to Wilson.
Harvey holding it back and floated it just perfect timing to Wilson, but the goal discounted.
It's a hell ball.
Harvey on the drive, holds it up. See, she holds the timing. Wilson with the shot, but it's a no goal.
Can't tell on slow motion whether it's 3 seconds or not.
See, more than 3 on slow motion.
Minute 10 left, first quarter. 12-8 Garville. Avellino, here they come.
Contact shooter.
And that's against Ball A's. A lot of contact in the latter stages of this first quarter. Sanders, Cobb, Ango. Filkey comes from around the corner. Toss up Filkey and Sanders. Filkey seems to save her best for these contests. Maybe playing even better than she did against South Africa.
I think so. I thought she had a fairly quiet series, and you know, even Michelle Filkey quiet is pretty dangerous. But certainly she thrives on playing in her local club side, Garville. And Pat Micken, of course, the Garville coach, newly appointed South Australian coach for 1995. So perhaps something coming through there for South Australia. But Filkey's alive tonight.
Oh, she's holding back the challenge until the very last microsecond. It puts Wilson off enough to stop the goal just before quarter time. That's a good first quarter from Garville. But Contax came back at them in the last 3 or 4 minutes to narrow the margin to 3 after it was 11-5. So it's 12-9 at quarter time. Contax in possession at the start of the second quarter, and there's plenty of animated talk in their huddle at quarter time. They wouldn't have been happy with the stats.
No, it's not often you see a 58% against Vicky Wilson. Shooter for Contax, 7 from 12, and quiet in goals with Sarah Ango, 2 from 3, but of course more possession would be good. For Garville, they were fine opening through Jenny Borlase, 8 from 10, 80%. Nat Avellino slipping down from her usual accuracy at 57% with 4 from 7. So possession was fairly balanced between the two sides. A slight edge to Garville, and obviously no panic in the Contax camp. They came from behind, but allowing the lineup to settle rather than shifting combinations.
Sanders to Wilson.
Oh, nice sleight of hand from Ango, and works the way over to Sanders. Contax looking a little more confident.
They're having to play brilliantly just to get the ball anywhere near the post. They've done it again now. Wilson.
And the top shot Vicky signs are up and flying now.
Avellino. Cobb pulls it in. The ball that was meant for Abbott. The loose one came from Grant. Oh, Sanders.
Sanders had her eye on play because she could well expect her to have the head down and driving. And now the start with Contax. And wouldn't Contax dearly love Vicky Wilson to reside in Adelaide? Much chance of that, I think.
She's a Queenslander.
So she tells me it's year-round state of origin time.
A heavy landing of Wilson on Filkey.
And long pass and the drive from Angove. Wilson with a nice move around the top and, of course, colliding with Filkey.
Wilson can have the shot. Not this time. Filkey. Grant, Abbott. Garville come down court like they mean it. And a touch from Dynan is enough. I think the fact that the shooting percentages are down for these players, I mean, 3 out of the 4 of them are in the Australian squad, shows that maybe the Australian club defence is somewhat better than South African national defence.
Oh, certainly. One of the weaknesses in the South African game was the defence line, in that they weren't experienced on an Australian style of play, and they were caught heads turning and back to the ball on several occasions.
Yep.
I think any Australian shooter will tell you a toughest opponent is a teammate. With all due respect to New Zealand.
Contacts have gone level. They're down by 3 at quarter time. So they've managed to keep their heads, keep in the game. Avellino. Harvey to Cobb. Well, with New Zealand having defeated South Africa by 18 in their one-off test, and Australia in their first outing against South Africa by 22, I think that's a reasonable indication that Australia and New Zealand are still pretty close.
I think so, and of course New Zealand only having the one opportunity to put it out against South Africa. Either that or South Africa made a world of improvement from the time they left Australia. I don't think that's the case. It doesn't come that quickly.
Well, I know that Marlene Wagner, the South African coach, said afterwards that she felt South Africa had played better against New Zealand than they did against Australia.
I think so in many ways. With the slight float to the pass, they're matched.
Natalie Avellino's lost a shoe. Contacts by 1.
Always working hard to hold position.
Oh, she was getting a right old nudge
from Sarah Tate.
I always struggle to pick up those leanings and shovings that go on, but even I can see that one.
I think the intention was quite stated then.
Avellino not up to her best in the opening quarter and a bit. Harvey falls for a teammate. Sanders comes out. Wilson.
Like it, because Wilson nearly pulled out of the drive to put a back move on, but seeing that Sanders was letting it go, she dived out again. She was steady for this one. Great shot.
Wilson, look of absolute determination on her face. As Contacts take the lead again.
Throw it.
Down goes Angove.
Play. Contact. Penalty pass. Or stop. There you are.
Wilson spending more time on the deck than we're used to seeing from her.
I was just thinking, Michelle made an appearance at City Electricity Coaching Clinic in January, and she was talking to the kids there with me and saying that when she plays Vicky Wilson, it's no holes barred. As much as she respects her, it's they're often on the floor, but she said we do apologise to each other, and I think the kids will be watching this and they'll be doing a count on who's apologised the most and who's been down the most.
Contacts by 2.
Oh, nice idea from Avellino. It doesn't come off because Harvey and Sutter are relentless. I think Sutter's made a lot of ground. And the reply from Filkey, I was about to say the entrance from Sutter into the Australian line has given her a new measure of confidence, and I think there's a lot of spark coming from that defence combination.
A sweeping down-court move from Contacts, just stopped in its tracks by Filkey, and now it's a goal at the other end. Well, they needed that. They were being outscored 7-2 in the first half of this quarter.
Clever Harvey. She really ran off the back of Gill, knowing that she'd probably be off balance and she'd pick up the crumbs. Crowd really getting into this match.
Angove put beside Filkey after having the contact. Wouldn't South Africa get a buzz out of watching this kind of club netball?
They'd probably be relieved for the moment that they're spectators.
Cobb, Wilson, Sanders.
And Wilson putting the shoulder down to drive the ball, but it goes into Filkey. No love lost between the two champions.
Pierce. Contact on Sanders, so contact against contacts. 3 times up the court, and again. Avellino.
Well, I know we're in for some amazing contests in this mobile league, but you'll be hard-pressed to match the intensity in this game.
Avellino just off the goals at the moment.
She's missed 3 straight from 3.
Unlike her, Cobb.
And unfortunately, as soon as you assume the green and gold jersey, the expectation is there to perform in big matches, so she'll be looking to improve that stat as the game goes on.
There's pressure over every pass. Gill.
Ango quickly silencing the offer from Filkey.
Grant. Abbott. Borlase.
Oh, Sutter. Spectacular stuff from Sutter.
Not allowed to keep it.
No, she did well, but just a touch late, I think, on exploding at the ball. Great contest from her, though. Borlase trying to get front position early on, but Sutter keeps shutting it down.
And a second after she got to her feet, she'd made position. And Garville are back in front. 6 minutes left, second quarter, 17-16, Garville. Ango. Wilson. Touched out of court by Filkey.
Where you are. Hi.
Oh, and the ball given straight to Danny Grant. A misread of the situation from Ango.
Keeping Garville in the game, 6 straight from her. Avellino still quiet with only 3 misses.
And somehow Borlase got between Harvey and Sutter to take that. Now Avellino.
Strong work from Borlase, a dodge on the baseline.
It's Garville by 3 now. Contacts needed that one. Garville had scored 5 unanswered goals.
Oh, well done. Harvey really forcing hesitation on ground speed. And really no reason. She had Harvey at her mercy, but Harvey just so determined that I think Grant backed off the delivery.
Dinan comes over for the throw-in. The determination on all defenders. Was the final this good?
I don't remember it being this good.
Sutter brings it down. Sanders has it to Wilson. Ango. He was waiting for it, but Wilson's got it.
Makes as much ground as she can.
Wilson, Ango, and going down was Grant. She's all right.
Where you are.
Garville ball.
Hi.
Grant to Abbott. Borlase leads out. Avellino's at the post, well guarded by Harvey. Oh, now she's got away from it.
I think I stretched with her then.
Well, I think...
Ball ace to Abbott. Avellino free. Sutter close, not close enough.
An infringement in the circle. Ball ace. Might have seen the timekeeper get up just as she turned to take the shot. That's a timely one. And Cobb doesn't get time for the centre pass. That was a telling end to the second quarter from Garville. They were trailing for a while after a big comeback early in the quarter by Contax. But now at half-time, Garville lead Contax 24-19. Contax need to make a bright start to the third quarter. They trail by 5. Get a quick one into Wilson.
And Garville well on track through Jenny Borlase, 9 from 10. She's in great form, 90% leading the shooters on court. Avellino quiet, and as we mentioned during the quarter, really not playing at her best. Only 3 from 6 at 50% for Contax. Vicky Wilson really lifting her effort from the first quarter. She's up there with 81%, 9 from 11, so very comparable in possession with Jenny Borlase. And same story for their goal attack. Sarah Angove, more the feeding role and not so much shooting, only 1 from 3. So both teams, Steve, really playing with only 1 firing shooter.
A goal apiece in the opening minutes. Sanders.
Contact shooter.
And contact from Wilson on Gill. So Garville
Advantage contact.
looking to increase the lead here. Ab Grant. Borlase. Borlase over Sutter. Thought that ball bounced out before it hit the feet. But not so. Contax could benefit.
Point.
The time it's out at the other end.
Play.
Grant. Abbott. The real contests, Anne, have been at either end. The passage through the centre third hasn't been too difficult, it seems, for either side, but they get near the circle and boy, it really chokes up.
Yeah, because both circle defenders really firing, really making it tough for the shooters to find space. And the battle between Wilson and Filkey is probably the most cherished on court. Wilson, until that goal, not having too much joy in the opening moments of this third quarter, as she had in the first, but she came through in the second well, so the battle still oscillates between those two.
Contax won both the matches that these teams played last year. 50-47 in round 1, and in the final in extra time. 61-58. Of course, netball this year has changed their method of scoring, so that they've really addressed the issue of that controversy of last year.
Yes.
Score sheets, more people actually working on the process.
Yeah, they experimented with a few ideas after the final last year, so crucial is it to the game. And they've decided to put extra sheets, extra people, as you say. And let's face it, if the teams would be more considerate and have wider margins, it would help. I think the beauty of the Mobile League is that many of the matches are so closely contested, so it's important that the scoring mechanism be spot on.
Barney's breaking, wing defense. Contact, centre, elbow. Where you are.
14 Cobb put beside Danny Grant. Borlase. Abbott. Avellino. A good spread. Gets herself close. It's just not there for her.
No, not the best match we've seen from her, and disappointing when she entered the international series well.
Sanders to Ango.
Wilson and Filkey just sharing who's on the floor. The surface on the Clipsal Powerhouse is going to be mighty clean by the end of this game.
They bring out a new standard in both, in each other, I'm sure. Filkey can only put it into the hands of Wilson.
I don't think Wilson's going to have a tougher challenge all year, including World Championships in England in July. Garville just can't shake Contacts. They've had some good spreads, but Contacts keep coming back at them, and I just sense there's a lot of fire in store with Contacts. The brilliance of Harvey and others with that ability to create a turnover when a team needs it.
A good fake from Ango. Sets up Wilson now.
And she shot that through Filkey. Filkey all over her. Mark Angove on the bench really screaming at her team to go on with it. Okay. Wilson, I think, would think she'd died and gone to heaven if she could take one pass without Filkey all over it.
So it's a toss-up between the Australian captain and vice-captain. 6-2. Contacts have outscored Garville. Start of the third quarter.
Wilson put out of play. Didn't see that happen. It's just off the back of the ball. Unless it was from the toss.
Gill to Pearce. Now it's a little choked in the centre third. Borlase, Avellino, Harvey all over.
Well, she's trying to fake into Harvey, but Harvey won't be moved. She doesn't have to move back as long as she's 3 feet from the landed foot. So Avellino can step into her all day with the ball.
Now, in good position is Avellino.
Good work from Sutter over the shot, but not enough to stop it.
Pat Micken makes the notes, and her team 2 up after 6 minutes of the third quarter. It's a non-contact sport, isn't it?
Yeah. You and I are just getting feeble.
Oh, Avellino. And she has the contact call against her.
Next the goal attack.
Avellino just putting the body into Harvey's line. Good call from Jan Cross. Wilson, uncontested. She'd have loved that one. But not the shot. She shoots through it.
Too far away. Except for her.
Contacts his chance to equal the score.
Contact.
They've been in chase position for most of the match. I know they hit the front once in the last quarter, but been chasing most of it.
In that second quarter, it was almost as if the effort of getting back on level terms took something out of them, and then Garville kicked again. So I think the next 5 minutes are crucial for Contacts.
That's the leveler.
They've got to kick on from here.
Hurry up in.
Danny Grant deliberately slowing down the taking of the centre and being cautioned by Nola Callan to move into that centre and keep the game flowing. She sensed that Garville needed to settle. That's the one they needed from Avellino. She's going to hit her straps. Now would be a good time.
Sigh of relief, the most visible from Avellino. Wilson.
Wing defence out.
Of course, in these early rounds, if they have a draw, then they just share the points.
That's good. It's less stressful on you and I.
Contact.
Only the one for the Prime Minister's Cup that's got to be fought out to the death.
Harvey. Sanders. Looks pretty good in the blue uniform. Sanders having come from the Oakdale club.
Shocking clash there between Filkey and Angove. Angove, playing on, and Filkey caught smashing into her. She turned to chase and straight on into Angove.
Toss up Filkey, Angove.
Contact pulled out.
And contact against Wilson. So a little victory there for Filkey over both her opponents.
Couldn't quite tell then whether the crowd was booing the decision or angry with the Australian vice-captain. They can't be disappointed in the match, though.
For you what?
Just quite low scoring, but you'd be hard to please if you didn't think this was entertaining.
Oh, the defence is brilliant in this game. Again, the combination, Harvey onto Sutter, the tip and the backup.
Now Cobb. Dynan.
Wilson with the drop to the post, but Filkey just too close. And that one too ambitious from Dynan, who hugs ahead in regret.
Contax put the pressure on in a goal third. That frees it up. Grant, they had two there.
Decides, let's not fool around here. Let's get on with it. Sutter's having a wonderful game. As good as Borlase is in goals, although she's been really quietened in this third quarter. Only 5 attempts, only 1 shot.
Avellino didn't like the range.
Where you are.
Tell you what, there's going to be some bruises come out in the morning.
Five minutes left, third quarter. Garville with their noses back in front.
Filkey had a good look, had a lot of time, eyes to the ball. Pass, just not enough zest on it. Good ball to Avellino.
Touch from Sutter, but Borlase, the handling skills good enough, as are the shooting skills.
Borlase juggles first after the tip from Sutter, but the shot is sure.
Borlase to Grant. Under 1.5 minutes left, third quarter, 2 in it. Borlase.
Sutter just caught with the vision shut down because she was chasing Borlase. The pass was good.
Now this is a crucial centre pass to convert for Contax. With a minute to go. Contact against Ango. So they didn't do what I said they needed to. Oh, Harvey and Avellino.
Just a little lack of control creeping into the game. Whilst the marking has been flamboyant, the last few minutes has just seen the control go wanting.
The longer it stays tight, the more the emotions get more difficult to control. Grant, Borlase.
Sutter just a touch too soon then in the challenge to the ball. She had good position, but a little eager to get out on it.
.35-30.
Contact Suda.
That was poor delivery from Sanders.
And Callan issued a warning then to Vicky Wilson. So that's enough. Down go the two Contax defenders. And time is blown, and as they did towards the end of the second quarter, Garville picked it out to lead by 5. Boy, what a game we've got here between the Adelaide arch rivals. Garville leading Contax at three-quarter time, 35-30. Danny Grant gets us underway. Final quarter, Garville leading by 5.
And Garville slipping down in their stats in that third period. 6 from 10 for Borlase, 60%. 5 from 8 for Avellino at 62%. For Contax, Vicky Wilson, despite the pressure from Filkey, putting up 11 from 13. Best on court in the third quarter with 84%. Sarah Angove, though, not in the game, 0.
Well, as they did in the second and third quarter, Contax have got to wipe out the deficit, but Filkey intercepts, wipe out the deficit and then build on it. So they're down by 5. And Avellino and Borlase have swapped. So Borlase to goal attack, Avellino goal shooter. A change that they've made many times in the last couple of years.
And the intercept from Filkey, brilliant.
Harvey, Sanders.
Silky, great pressure over the ball and blocks Wilson's move. Very often a defender will work over the ball but just turn and run with the attacker, but no granting of space here as the two giants collide again. This one hurting. Silky straight into Wilson.
Wilson. Quick word to Angove on the way past. But still the difference is 5. 13 minutes to do something about it. Garville. Spill one.
Well, it would have been pretty had it come off. Touch too ambitious.
Contax must capitalise on any Garville mistakes. Garville have got to keep them to a minimum. I think it's terrific that you can have a contest like this where the teams just stay locked together for so long. There's nothing in it. Wilson feeling that left wrist she hurt in that last contest with Filkey. Was that the one she broke?
Oh, look, you're testing me now. That was a very heavy fall then, though, and Filkey really had no right to continue on with that challenge. She, I think, was pushing like a little far, and as we commented in the third quarter, just a lack of control creeping into this game.
Wilson, of course, broke a wrist in the series against New Zealand, wasn't it, a couple of years back?
Yes.
And I can't remember whether it was left or right, but anyway, she's okay.
And Contax needing to make use of that centre, but the break going against Sanders gives the possession back to Garville.
Avellino all the way back to Gill. Angove arrives a touch too late. Wasn't expecting the retreat pass. Borlase.
Good ball then to Borlase. They're really pushing the ball into the space ahead of the player. Borlase will finish well for Garville.
France. And Borlase finishes. Well, we've just gone more than 7.5 minutes, so we're more than halfway through this last quarter.
Offside, 3 pass, top of the circle.
Oh, yeah, that's torrid. 8 the lead, though. So Garville surviving this physical contest a little better than Contax. Wilson over Gill.
Doing what she does best, shooting under pressure, steadies, takes a little extra time with that one.
Abbott to Avellino. Grant and Avellino.
I thought she might have faked herself out of that one, but Borlase on the receiving end.
It's against Harvey. Harvey was a long way from the circle too. She's lucky it's broken down in that corner. She's had time to get there. Avellino.
Contact centre, penalty.
Under 6 minutes left and 8 the lead. A turnover here for Contax, so they must make use of it, have any chance. As time works against them, Filkey flies.
A poor feed from Cobb, it needed more on it than that one. Cobb not giving it the air it needed, falling short of Wilson.
Desperation from Sada.
Yeah.
Sideline. Play.
43-35. 5 minutes to go. Avellino. Oh, down goes Harvey. Harvey and Avellino have had a couple of good goes. Well, I think it remains true that in Adelaide they played a little tougher, a little more physical than in the other cities.
Well, this match would certainly reinforce that viewpoint. And they train it tough too. They'll be putting in at least 3 to 4 club sessions a week, which is a high load for a club team. They get very little time off the game. I know they've been in pre-season training for quite some time now.
Offside is Pearce.
Free pass in the circle.
But in a town that eats and drinks its netball, it's expected. They're very high profile in Adelaide.
Ango gets a rare one in from this distance.
Ango on strike.
But Contax trying to rescue a 9-goal deficit.
Harvey
4 to go.
flies, but the misfeed from her. So a little more time on the delivery would have seen Wilson unguarded at the post.
Gave it straight to Australian teammate and Filkey. Ball lays now. Ball for a lead of 10. And with 3.5 to go, they're safe now, surely. Through the legs of Wilson. Sanders. Nice move from Ango, who held up the shot. Adelino. Must have been close to a held ball.
Garville shooters really steady to finish. Borlase has put up 10 from 12. Avelino a few opportunities, but steady when she has it. Just a little more composure in the Garville circle to finish out the game. Contacts in chase.
Contact against Wilson, and that's it. 2:20 to go, 10 the lead. Only one team can win here, and it's Garville.
Great timing here from Garville. They're in full flight. Look at the passing.
And now Avelino with a chance. And I think Garville now being flattened a little by the scoreboard. Contact's forced to look for the intercepts in the last few minutes. They haven't happened. I don't know that Garville have been a 12-goal better side. They've certainly answered every challenge handed out by Contacts tonight, and there have been a few of them. Filthy misread that completely and ended up forcing it out. Doesn't matter now, though. Ango. Touch over a minute left. Chance for Garville to get 50.
Well, a rare misfeed from Abbott. She's been putting in some nice ball to her shooters.
Filthy put out of play. Contact against her, Sanders.
Well, you can't say she's been quiet in this one.
I wouldn't say that.
She's been hungry for the ball and trying to create as much opportunity as she can for her Garville club side.
Sanders to Harvey.
Little grubber pass from Ango, but again putting Wilson under so much pressure, particularly given how closely she's been marked. It's really in many ways been unfair treatment of their import. I'm sure something they'll rectify across the competition.
Ball lays. Abbott. Timekeeper will get out of a chair shortly as Avelino goes over the top of Sutter. Dynan. Cobb. Long ball, because Cobb knows the timekeeper's up, and that's all there'll be. And some revenge for Garville. who felt the Super League title should have been theirs last year against these same opponents. They've let their play do the talking this evening in this match. They've drawn first blood in 95, Garville defeating Contax 49-40. A decisive win for Garville in the end, and I'm sure Michelle Filkey is happy as she talks to Anne Sargent.
Thanks, Steve. Well, Michelle, congratulations on a great opening match to the MOBIL League. It's always tough between these two teams. Tonight seemed just that little bit tougher.
It was actually. I think it's the first time that we've really had a great game since the Super League final last year. And it wasn't revenge. It was just a chance for Garville to really prove that we're in here in 1995 and we really mean business for the final.
But tell the truth, how much was the final result on your mind going into it?
I think we let it go, Anne. A couple of months ago, we had a good discussion together and decided that that was the end of 94. And if we were to win this year, we really needed to just be strong this year. And tonight proved that our court play is going very well for us. We still have homework to do, and we'll come out again strong.
Well, a low-scoring game because the defence on court was so torrid, but the battle between you and Vicky Wilson, pretty torrid.
Yeah, the great thing about playing Vicky is she's a true sports person, and, you know, I love playing Vicky because we're always in there with a great battle, and, you know, there'll be plenty of them to come, I know.
Well, hard to imagine another game in the competition proving that hard for you.
I think, though, Sydney are very strong, and also with Melbourne, you know, they've got a great team this year and could also give us a hard run. When you play away from home, it's also a lot harder.
Well, Steve, Michelle Filkey, a little sore, but not sorry. Back to you.
Yes, I'm sure Garville and Contax reached a new level of intensity tonight. Our next match on Goal Attack is on Thursday night when Sydney Electricity and Perth begin their MOBIL League campaigns with a round one game again here in Adelaide. Check your local guides for telecast times. But for the moment, though, from the Adelaide Powerhouse, that's all from us. Goodbye for now.